What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for coming here to talk nerd stuff, comics, movies. We appreciate it. This is Why So City Pod, and we are joined by a very special guest. We got Darian from D Cannon. How do you say your name? Because I always thought it was DC Cannon until typing it out.
It's just D canon. It was kind of just like, I'm the type of person that likes the canon of stuff and like comics and whatnot. Like, that's the kind of like how that name came to be. And then a lot of people call me D for short for like my name. So kind of just put the two together and just came up with that name.
Hell yeah. So we got a comic and movie content creator on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. On YouTube, it's D-Cannon5. On Instagram and TikTok, it's D-Cannon5 without the dash. So check them out. Great content. Good to have you on, dude. Thank you. And today we're going to be talking about little MCU, little DCU, little comics. I believe you're a semi-new comic reader, right?
Yeah, I'm semi new to reading comics as a whole. I've kind of watched YouTube videos growing up about, comics and stuff like that, but like reading them at all together is kind of like I'm kind of new to that area.
For sure. Yeah, so we'll get into that. And really we've on this podcast we talk a lot about what we expect from Doomsday, Secret Wars, the DCU. We're going to do a little of that here, but we're also mostly going to focus on like what do we want? Like what do we really want to see out of the DCU and MCU after Secret Wars? But yeah, let's start with just like your comic background. So like what does your comic reading look like? Is it like a year or two behind your belt, or just like a brand new thing, couple months? And what are some of your favorites so far?
I'd say it has been, I'd say about maybe 2 years right now. And I've been reading a lot of like older comics. I think like the first comic that I started reading that kind of got me into like collecting and started reading was Batman Hush. And I bought the graphic novel for that, and I just loved that story and just loved the artwork from Jim Lee. And after that, found a LCS, and I just started going there, picking up just random comics at the time. But then I realized that I wanted to start reading characters that I love, and then that's when Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman came out. Then I started reading from there, and then Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler, and then the Daredevil run by Solomon Ahmed, and then the Absolute Universe, and kind of just started from there. And then I just started collecting like the omnibus editions and graphic novels and stuff like that. So that's kind of like Batman Hush was like the jumping on point from there.
Yeah, I think like my Batman Long Halloween was my first, like one of my first three comics. Hush, one of my very first comics as well. So you're still doing some single issues as they come out weekly.
Yeah, I'm still doing that. It's expensive, honestly. Like just
Yeah,
picking up single issues every week is expensive. So I feel like at a certain point I might stop doing that and just, kind of get in that mindset of just like I can just wait like a month or two till the trade comes out and I can just read everything in one go. Because I'm
yeah,
a big omnibus guy. That's like my preferred format. So that's kind of like where my headspace is at right now with like single issues and trades and omnibuses.
same. If our page made a ton of money, I would do more single issues, but I just gotta wait for that kind of
Yeah.
lifestyle. I'm okay with waiting. But you've read a lot of newer stuff that I haven't read, like Ziegler, Miles, Ahmed's Daredevil. And I like those characters. I like a lot of their comics. How do these new ones kind of stack up against their older comics?
Man, I honestly just today I just read issues 40 and 41 of Ziegler's Miles run. I'm loving that run a lot. And I recently just finished Solid and Ahmed's Miles Morales run too, and I love that a lot.
Yeah,
And honestly, I've read all of Miles so far. Well, really all of his. And Ziegler's run is like at the top for me, and then like a close second is Solid and Ahmed's run, and then Bendis's run. And it's just like Ziegler's run kind of just gave Miles more character to him and like more like made him his own character as to like Bendis's run and kind of like Solid and Ahmed's run. Like Bendis kind of what am I trying to say? He kind of gave us the character of Miles and kind of just like set him up. And then Solid and Ahmed kind of like pushed him just a little bit more to make him his own character. And then Ziegler got his hands on Miles, and then that's really when Miles kind of shined on his own.
nice. Okay, so I really need to read that. My favorite is Bendis's first like 12 issues with Miles, with Prowler as the main villain. I love the story with him and his uncle. But the Ahmed run with Miles surprised me. I didn't expect it to be as good as Bendis's, and I really liked it. I like that guy who starts experimenting on Miles. Miles
Yeah,
keeps,
the assessor.
yeah, the assessor, and Miles keeps outperforming their little algorithms and stuff. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, he's a very interesting villain. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's out of all Miles's villains, he's like top three, top two. It's
Yeah.
the Assessor, Prowler, and Rabble, the newest villain that first appeared in Ziggler's run in the first story arc.
Okay. And Miles, he's just part of the 616 now. Is that what you think?
Yeah,
He's-
yeah. I really, when I first started reading Miles, I was kind of like, I feel like he could have been a lot better in the original Ultimate Universe if they didn't end it. I felt like he could have benefited from that. But I like him being in the 616 and interacting with all the other characters, especially 616 Peter. I love their interactions a lot.
Yeah, same here. Manny7 wants to see the Prowler back in the Spider Verse. We're definitely going to see Prowler, right? Because the way Across the Spider Verse ended, wasn't Miles in a different universe with his uncle? And I forgot
Yeah,
how it ended exactly.
it ended with him in Earth 42. The spider that bit him originated from that universe. So when he took the go home machine, he went to Earth 42, and that's the universe where like Earth 42 Miles is the Prowler, and his uncle isn't the Prowler
Gotcha.
anymore, and Jefferson Davis died in that universe. So that's how that movie ended. I honestly cannot wait for Beyond the Spider Verse.
Yeah, dude. Such a surprisingly amazing movie. This question I don't even know the answer to. Does Prowler have powers? He didn't get bit by a spider or anything, did he?
No, Prowler doesn't have any powers. It's really mostly like his suit that really kind of has like all the gadgets and all that type of stuff. And then obviously Aaron Davis is quite formidable in fighting and whatnot, but no, he doesn't really have any powers like that.
Gotcha. All right, before we move on to MCU or DCU, what would be your absolute favorite comics you've read so far?
So far, man, that's tough. I was actually thinking about that the other day. It would honestly have to be between three: Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Batman, and then Miles Morales by Cody Ziegler. That those three
Nice.
are like some of my favorites. Not to say Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man isn't good, it is, but like those three particular kind of have me locked in a lot and looking forward to like the next issue every time they come out.
Nice. Yeah, Hickman's Spider-Man really needs a strong ending. I thought it started off as one of the best ever. Really slow kind of issues, maybe 6 through 10 or 12 or something, and then picks back up, especially that like with the Craven the Hunter stuff when he starts beating Craven up, saying, "Dude, you're not on the same level as me, not even close." Breaks his gun, but yeah, it needs a strong ending. It sucks that it's ending, and I hope that
Yeah.
Hickman has a really cool little climax planned. Is it ending because you're more in tune with the current comics coming out, but is it ending because Hickman's going to write the ultimate endgame?
No, that's Dennis Camp that's writing the Ultimate Endgame, and I
Oh,
think
okay,
it's just overall, I think the Ultimate Universe was going to end at some point. And I think from what I remember that Jonathan Hickman had planned out like 24 issues. That's how it was always going to be. But yeah, it's unfortunate that it's ending. I've really enjoyed it. Have you read like the original Ultimate Spider-Man
yeah.
comics?
I've read Bendis Ultimate Spider-Man, the Miles Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Hickman. The Hickman's my favorite so far.
Yeah, I haven't read the original Ultimate Universe comics, but growing up I watched Comic Storian a lot growing
Yeah.
up, and
R.I.P.
yeah, man, he was the GOAT. He had it was like a 3 hour long full story video of the original Ultimate Spider-Man comics. And I remember watching that repeatedly because that story was just so good. And I've been wanting to get the omnibuses, but a lot of them are out of print right now.
Yeah, that's the struggle with collecting. The patience, man. There's a lot of omnis I want to come out quick, but we're gonna have to wait. What else was I gonna say? The Hickman. It's really annoying when Hickman's plans aren't allowed to be drawn out. Like the Krakoan era X-Men, you'll probably get into that in the future at some point, but Hickman started that thing off so legendary, and then it just trickled off. He ended up not writing any more of it. It ended without his writing involved and all that kind of stuff. But man, Hickman just when he's allowed to cook and when you don't limit him, he just makes the best stuff. Doing his Avengers run for years, leading up to Secret Wars, still one of my top three. But he's the GOAT, dude.
Yeah, that's his Avengers and Fantastic Four run and Secret Wars are like at the top of my list to read just because of how highly praised they are, and just because of Ultimate Spider-Man being like my first Jonathan Hickman uh comic to read. I'm like, yeah, I have to check out this guy's other work,
Hmm.
especially like the X-Men stuff. I haven't read any X-Men comics like that, but I want to kind of start with like his Krakoa era, but I also kind of want to start with like the Chris Claremont Uncanny X-Men and stuff like that. But kind of
Yeah.
want to jump back and forth.
Starting at Claremont's tough because it's so freaking long, but there's some of the quintessential X-Men stuff. Starting X-Men, if you go Grant Morrison or Whedon, Astonishing X-Men, those are like really good starting points.
Yeah, which run is like your favorite run?
Oh, I don't. It's hard to say, but I'm a kind of a sucker for this era where Hope Summers comes down and she's the last mutant, first mutant born after M Day, and it's like Messiah War, Messiah Complex, and Second Coming, and the X Force was created like in the middle of all that and tying into all that, and it was like when the X Force became super badass. And the race to get Hope Summers, the villains were doing it, the heroes were doing it. I thought it was a really solid story. It's not quite written as well as Claremont or Grant Morrison, but something about that era is like my favorite. That's what stands out if I think of my favorite X-Men era.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, well, a lot of creators and a lot of YouTube videos on like where to start X-Men and stuff like that. And everybody has a different list. And I've realized like X-Men has a lot of like history and a lot of different stories. So it's kind of just like you can pick and choose where to start. There isn't really like a wrong place to start, really.
Right. And honestly, dude, I think it's for new readers who have never read before, it's super intimidating to start anything. But I also think that you could literally start anywhere with many of the characters. Just start somewhere. It's not like you're gonna, if the writers always fill you in on anything you need to know for that particular story, you know what I mean? If something's going down with like Noel, they're gonna give you a little background on Venom and Noel a little bit. So they do a good job at, because like Chris Claremont's whole thing when he was maybe coaching his writers, when he writing himself, he always said each issue you got to pretend a little bit like someone might be picking this up for the first time as a comic reader ever. So give him some important information almost every issue, which I think might be overkill, but at least for every arc, you're going to get hooked up with the info you need.
Yeah, that's something that I've learned with these somewhat newer comics is that there's some stuff that I'm just like, I don't really know who this character is or um what they're talking about, the context or something like that. But at the same time, I'm still enjoying the book and I can always go
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
read the older stuff to get more context. Like, oh, so that's what they were talking about in that newer run that I'm reading.
Yeah. And to like when I started reading comics, I did a ton of the events first: Civil War, Secret Wars, Hulk, Planet Hulk, whatever. And honestly, going back and reading like certain series that led up to those events made reading those a lot more fun. I understand where it was going, so I saw how the seeds were put in place. So it's like you could start wherever, dude, and then that'll just make the other pieces that come together. If you go back and read how that came to be, it just makes that a little more special.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. What is this question?
Who do you think Sadie Sink will play in Spider-Man 4? Manny
Oh,
7 again with the comment. Thanks, dude.
oh man, you can answer that first. I'm curious to see like who you might think she's playing.
Well, all the rumors are literally talking about the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey, who is Rachel Gray or Rachel Summers. Like she could go by both names. That's what people online are saying, and that kind of got me sold. But that's just not a character I expect to be in a Spider-Man, comic. I mean, movie. It seems really weird to have an obscure X-Men character. We don't even know Cyclops or Jean Grey, but you think her daughter's going to be in there, and they're thinking it's a multiversal traveler that's going to warn them. I don't know. I think that feels like it's too much. So, dude, I don't have any good guess for Sadie Sink. You see in the trailer, she looks like kind of a badass. She has this presence. Her demeanor is confident. She looks like she is a fighter or something, not like an MJ. But man, I really
Yeah.
couldn't tell you. But if all the rumors are true, it's Rachel Summers.
Yeah, I'm not sure honestly. Like I've seen all the like the Twitter posts of like the rumors that oh she's playing this character, she's playing this, and I'm like honestly I'm at a point now where it's like I don't want to know who she's playing. I just rather experience it when the movie comes out because to me, some people thinking that she's like Jean Grey or like you said, like Rachel Grey or Rachel Summers. It's like they haven't necessarily really introduced the X-Men within the MCU universe yet. That kind of haven't like they don't exist yet. So I don't see how that would be who she is. And I kind of just leaving it up to just the experience of seeing who she could be playing, honestly. Like I'm not sure. I've given up trying to think of who she could be playing. There, I've seen some stuff saying she's gonna have like shape shifting powers and she's gonna be rumored or she's rumored to be playing Shafra, a character from I think the J. Michael Straczynski's era of Spider-Man, but then that also was debunked and just like a rumor that Marvel kind of just said to kind of mislead us somewhere else. So I'm kind of just like I'm not sure. I'm just waiting for the movie to come out to see who she could be playing. Honestly,
Same. There's almost there's not enough hype around this, and it's only coming out in like 5 6 months. I can't wait for a trailer, and I can't wait for more of the hype. It seems like it's the hype is being overridden by Doomsday right now. We already have like 4 little Doomsday trailers, and we the only thing they have done so far is drop an official poster, and it kind of looks fan made. It's got a scorpion tail, it's got Hulk's fist over there. Um, and I don't know, but it seems like there's not a lot of hype. Till that trailer comes out, I'm sure it'll pop off.
yeah, I'm like the videos that I make with like the information drop type of videos. Like I have like I'm always on Twitter just getting all that information and stuff. And there's a mixture of hype more for Doomsday because of like the 4 trailers, but there is that hype for Spider-Man, but it's mostly just like wanting Sony and Marvel to release the trailer since like it leaked on Twitter and I saw some of the footage. And as I'm watching like maybe 13 seconds of it, I stopped. I'm like, you know what? No, this is like somehow to me, this is like watching a spoiler video. So I'm just
Mhm.
gonna wait till like the actual full HD quality video comes out. But yeah, I agree with that. Like a lot of hype is towards Doomsday right now, and not a lot of it is seen for Spider-Man. But as soon as that trailer hits, like Avengers and Spider-Man are gonna be like right here neck and neck in terms of hype.
Yeah, that's $2 billion films Marvel has coming out this year. They're gonna do fine.
Yeah, they're gonna make all kind of money this summer and
So,
in the winter time.
so what do you think about the little Avengers Doomsday little teasers?
I I like them. My girlfriend and I went to go see Avatar Fire and Ash, really great movie. And the Captain Steve Rogers trailer showed up and it was all right. Like it didn't do anything for me. And then the Thor trailer was releasing and that did something. I'm like, I like this. Then the X-Men trailer came out, then that's when I was sold. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, me too.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Even the Fantastic Four one, you saw that one too?
Yeah, that one was really good too. I really like that one too. Like out of all the trailers, which one was your favorite?
X-Men, dude, by far. That one was really cool. And we got a shout out for Darian there. Let's go.
Oh, that's my boy Josh. Shout out my boy Josh, man.
Yeah, I thought, dude, man, if I'm considering the Russo brothers and the vibe, the tone they bring to their movies, and I'm picturing the X-Men in that kind of a movie with all these Avengers and Doctor Doom in there too, this seems like just pure, just greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot like a lot of fun. So, did you see how they were looking at how the Russos posted something about like there's a lot in these trailers that you're gonna have to look real hard to see. That's not word for word what they said, but they basically said there's information being hidden there. And
Yeah, I saw that.
did you see any of the timestamps and then people going back to where that doomsday clock talking about days until the movie, using that as a timestamp, going to Endgame and looking at where they all left off. Did you see those?
Yeah, I've seen a couple videos of that, and the Russo I saw a post that the Russo brothers was saying like the teaser trailers weren't just like trailers, or they aren't trailers, they're like stories. So from that, what I'm thinking in my head is like, okay, so these, like, the Steve Rogers trailer, Thor, X-Men, and the Wakandans and Fantastic Four are like different plots or like different storylines that are going to be going on within the movie. Hopefully that, they stick to landing with juggling all of these different stories. But that it is an interesting theory that people are using, like those little numbers or whatever that they're finding at the end of the trailers to kind of link that back to Endgame. But then I've seen some people, um, if you watch Emergency Awesome on YouTube, his name is Charlie on there. He does
Yeah,
like
I love it. Yeah.
yeah, I love his. I've been watching him for a while. He did a video talking about that and like saying like, okay, people found this, like these numbers, and it's linking up to this timestamp in Avengers Endgame. I think one of them kind of made sense to me. Then the other one was kind of like, this doesn't make any sense, honestly. So it's kind of just like a theory that everybody's having.
Yeah.
But
Still
with
just a
the
theory.
Russo brothers, you never know what they're leading towards.
Right. So out of the four trailers, four different timestamps, one of them was the moment when the Ancient One was telling Hulk how dangerous it was to mess with time. Right. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's obviously. And then the another one was when Loki, all the chaos happened. They already got Loki locked up, and they go downstairs, and Hulk starts busting things up, and he grabs the Tesseract and disappears. All right, and that all leads to him becoming the god of time, holding the freaking trees. So the other one was like stealing the, I think it was Rocket stealing the ether from the Thor, like from Asgard in the past. And I'm wanting to say the fourth one was Hulk. Oh, when they tested the time traveling for the first time. So there's a theme of like time travel is dangerous. So
Yeah.
that I think is really cool. I don't know how much it really reveals or if it's even really what's going on there. But all of those do have something to do with like going back in time with these Infinity Stones. I'm starting to wonder if we'll see the Infinity Stones and the Gauntlet in that movie at all. I mean, we did see it in the Secret Wars comics,
Yeah,
the
I
Hickman
think
one anyway.
yeah, I actually want to read the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars, but I think that like what you just said, like Loki taking the Tesseract and disappearing. Obviously, we saw like how that honestly was like it wasn't supposed to happen, which is why we got Loki season 1 and 2. And then I think that we might go back to that moment when the Ancient One was telling Bruce about, you take the Infinity Stones, messing around with time. I wouldn't say that exact scene, but it might, get referenced again at in some way. But I think there are like a certain things that weren't exactly supposed to happen. Like, obviously Steve going back and having his life with Peggy. That wasn't supposed to happen. I feel like that might have started an incursion. And I saw a video of a creator that I can't remember who it was, but somebody brought up how the incursions are like slowly happening, that they've been happening, like how they happen in the Secret Wars comic, or like the build up to Secret Wars, like they were happening the whole time, but none of the heroes do about it until the last minute. So I feel like there were certain moments throughout the movies that happened that caused incursions, like Steve and him going back, returning the stones, and the spell going on with Peter Parker and whatnot, and some other stuff that caused incursions in the background, but didn't or aren't really like being shown yet until Doomsday and Secret Wars. But I can't remember who that creator was that was talking about that. But if they're watching this, like shout out to that creator that said that.
Yeah, I do think that Steve Rogers doing his thing in the time is what caused incursions. So that's why I think RDJ is going to have a direct hate for Chris Evans. So, I mean, Steve Rogers. So we're going to kind of have this RDJ versus Chris Evans thing going on again. And they have that dynamic, dude. Like they really do. Seeing them kind of butt heads is some of the best MCU stuff. Yeah, I'm just can't wait. Any chance you watch the John Campea show?
No.
Okay, that's kind of one of the nerd shows that I really like to watch. But uh, It's like one of the leaders of the industry as far as nerd coverage, and he says he's read the script for Doomsday, and he's not a Marvel shill either. He calls him out on all kinds of stuff. He claims he keeps claiming they're full of shit, and they're the ones that were releasing the teasers or leaking the teasers um, right before they came out. Anyway, he said he saw the script and he's like unbelievably excited about it. He said like from the first scene, like it's gonna blow our freaking minds. He's like I was concerned about it. Marvel's kind of iffy lately, blah blah blah, but this script is just nuts. And he's like, it's so good that I don't even care. The whole thing is spoiled. I'm just that much more excited. Like we are not ready for this. And he's I believe a lot of the stuff he says. Pretty honest, genuine dude. And man, that got me pumped. Would you read the script if you got the opportunity, or would you say no and wait for the movie?
Ah, man, I feel like part of me would be tempted to like, let me just read it just to
A
see.
little
But
bit.
at this, yeah, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather see it visually on the screen
Yeah.
and see, like a certain moment in the script of, have you seen there was like a post of like all the like
Well, that's a good
rumored
point.
fights, all the
Uh-huh.
rumored fights that are going to be in the movie. Like imagine seeing like, like one of the fights is Captain America, Cyclops, and Mr. Fantastic fighting Doctor Doom. Like imagine seeing like all three of those characters like facing Doctor Doom. Like it would be so much better to
Dude.
actually see it visually. But like out of all those fights, like which one are you like most excited to see?
Oh, that's a good question. You know who? You know what? Magneto, in whatever form, whoever he faces. Even though Ian McKellen is so old, I cannot wait to see Magneto's powers and actions with the Russo brothers' direction in such a climactic movie like Avengers. I think they got something really cool planned with Magneto, dude. And yeah, Cyclops. Like, if I was gonna pick a 1v1 that I'd be most excited about that we have potential for, oh man, that's really hard. I'd want to. I'll go Magneto, Doctor Doom, because I feel like Magneto is one of the few that could stand up to Doom for a minute. But bloody knucklehead show and all the stuff says can't be a hyped up Secret Invasion script. I don't remember that, but that is a good point if he did that. So yeah, it is just a dude hyping up a script that he saw, and again, that is not a script. And I mean, that's not the movie. A script can be read out really nice, and the movie could be shitty because the Russo brothers aren't exactly making a movie with the same scenario they did before with a very trustworthy Marvel universe that everyone was hyped about. Every movie, like they got to do their Avenger movies in this story that already kind of has been taking shape over a long time. They're basically going to start something new with a couple things maybe tying in, but this is like they've done such good Marvel movies. Now it's like, all right, let's see what you really got if the story's already not basically laid out for you and you're just left to execute it very well. I might add they did, but this is a different scenario for them.
Yeah, it's with the whole Avengers Kang Dynasty and then Secret Wars, they basically probably had to rewrite the entirety of that Kang Dynasty movie to fit Doctor Doom in and stuff like that. So I honestly can understand why people might be skeptical towards that because it had to go through like a whole rewrite process. And then, with the success of the Infinity Saga, it was kind of just like the higher ups at Disney, like, hey, we need more movies, more TV shows, and it's like that's not
Yeah.
really what made the Infinity Saga successful. It was like the build up to it, and there has been the build up to well, essentially Doomsday and Secret Wars, but it hasn't been on the level of the Infinity Saga. But like the build up has been good. Like I love the build up that we're having for this, but it won't compare to like that build up in the Infinity Saga to Infinity War and Endgame. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, it's working against the grain. I'm just so happy to see Ian McKellen come back. I am so happy to see him out too. Like, I'm just so
My
excited
boy
for the
Alex.
Russo brothers to do something with all the X-Men, to be honest. And Manny Seven nailed it, dude. Dark Phoenix, not the best X-Men movie, but Magneto's action scenes, like on the train, was some of the most savage Magneto that I've seen on screen, and that was sick.
Yeah,
That's a little too that's a little too acrobatic for Ian McKellen, but he could sit in a freaking chair and do some really cool stuff. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. my girlfriend and I are actually doing like a marathon rewatch of all the X-Men movies. 'Cause I kind of want to get a familiar like with the X-Men characters since a lot of them are gonna be in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. And we watched the first X-Men movie and I just was sitting there watching. I'm like, man, this is so good. But seeing like how Ian McKellen was as Magneto in the movie and like the showcase of his powers, just because of like how the effects and quality was back in the 2000s, I'm thinking to myself, watching, I'm like, I cannot wait to see the level of just insanity that they're going to use with Magneto's powers. Because if they do anything to how he was in X-Men 97 or the original X-Men animated series, is going to blow me away.
Yeah. So let's do the part of the talk where we talk about what we want to see out of the MCU post Secret Wars, because the X Men, I feel like it'll be heavily focused on, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of my theme of what I want out of the MCU post Secret Wars is the X Men, but I really would like it, and I don't really think they're going to do this, but I think they should do individual character origin movies, even if you stuff another mutant or another X Men or two into those movies, like maybe some B lister or X Men. But like, give me a Cyclops origin, give me a Storm origin, Professor X, Magneto, and then the culmination film being the X Men would I think be so savage. Just like your phase one, it'd be hard to repeat the success of phase one, getting introduced to these new characters, watching them come together as a team. But with the X-Men, you have the opportunity to do that like all over again with new X-Men. And that could be epic. And then you could lead to Apocalypse or Mr. Sinister or whatever it is. And that's what I would love for the MCU to do after Secret Wars.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like there are certain characters that I could think of that I feel like most audience members don't know who they are. Like one of my favorite is Nightcrawler. And I think like I think like what Marvel should do is kind of take what James Gunn is doing over at the DCU and kind of use like bigger A-list characters and then have like lesser known characters introduced in the movie. So like imagine like a Wolverine movie or something like that, and they bring Nightcrawler in there and they kind of give Nightcrawler like a little bit of the spotlight to shine and like showcase his powers and like how cool he is. And that would kind of prompt um like general audience members like, man, I want to see more of that Nightcrawler character. Like they should make a movie about him because I'm sure like if you've seen certain movies where like the side characters or whatever shine more than the main character, you see online like, oh man, the movie was so good, but this side character was like the highlight of the movie. And then that could like, you know, give audience members like, yeah, we want a Nightcrawler movie. I honestly would love to see that, or even a TV show, like a good Nightcrawler movie, a TV show showcases origin and just like how badass he really is, and showcase like that relationship he has with Wolverine.
Yeah. 'Cause even a lot of comic readers don't know the origins of X-Men characters because it's like you got to find them in some random issue of Chris Claremont. They don't have they don't Marvel Comics is bad at doing modern retellings of origin stories for their characters. But yeah, that would be the way to do it, dude. Plus, you can still have Avenger like characters, other characters, movies. What would be really cool if you did your X-Men movie out in space, like a Shi'ar Kree war with the X-Men caught in the middle. So that's why the Avengers aren't there, kind of thing. And then going back to introducing characters, Marvel's really good at that too. Black Panther and Spider-Man introduced in a Captain America movie, like Vision being created in Avengers, Black Widow and Hawkeye. They were introduced in Iron Man and Thor. Like that's really it makes it more special. Like you just got introduced to Hawkeye in this Thor movie. I didn't expect that. Black Widow in an Iron Man movie. So yeah, you do that. You got a Cyclops origin, and of course, like I don't know if they're all going to end with meeting Professor X and then joining the mansion, but I think it'd be great to build up each individual character, bleed some other ones into those movies, and then a big X-Men culmination.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. How about any villains that you'd want to see if we do get our another Thor movie, Iron Man movie, Hulk movie, whoever it is? Any villains we haven't seen yet that you want to see?
Um, for Hulk, Absorbing Man, I don't even think we've seen
Oh
like a
yeah.
movie with him. We've seen Abomination. We got the leader in Brave New Day, but honestly, like I mean, his portrayal was cool. I'd say years late, but I would love to see like a good, leader portrayal with Hulk and whatnot. I remember watching like the animated Hulk TV show, and I remember seeing the leader in that, absorbing man, abomination. And there was another character. I can't remember what his name is. He has like two heads or something like that. I remember in like one of the video games he was in. I can't remember exactly what his name is.
I don't know either.
But that would be cool as well. And like a World Breaker Hulk movie would be cool. World War Hulk. That like I would love to see that if Universal can find some way to coexist with Marvel to give us that.
Yeah. Marvel's two probably biggest IP characters besides Wolverine, maybe Hulk, Spider-Man. It's like they can't just have the freedom to do these movies. It's so annoying. Because man, I would love a Red Hulk, but we got that in Captain America. And like you said, the leader, would that be awesome? Got that in Captain America.
Yeah, you got Hulk character showing up in a Captain America movie, which I'm not opposed to. I enjoyed those little moments of Red Hulk in the movie,
Me
but
too.
imagine like what we got in the Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton and like the ending fight with Hulk and Abomination, but having that with Hulk and Red Hulk fighting each other and stuff like I would
Yeah.
love to see that.
The only other thing I could think of that I really want out of Marvel is a full-on like symbiote focus. Spider-Man, the next trilogy of Spider-Man doing Venom for movie one, Carnage for movie two, maybe even building to Null. Because I think Null would actually make a pretty good Avengers villain, if not the main villain of a trilogy for Spider-Man. But I think that is somewhere you can go that is very different from what we've had so far and would just be so epic.
Yeah, seeing the have you read the King and Black story?
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing like I haven't read it, but seeing that in live action, like the build up to that or like Maximum Carnage and stuff like that, that would be really cool to see.
That'd be really cool because the symbiotes were given like lore. Like they have a planet. They're called the Clintar. Like they got this whole planet and everything. Like there's a lot you could do with symbiotes. That'd be so cool. Avengers 6 being like 7, whatever it is, being Null as the villain. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I need to read the Donny Cates Venom run as well as the King and Black storyline as well. Kind of want to get more into Venom, so want to kind of I want to read like the older stuff, but then I kind of want to start like what's available in like the Venom by Donny Cates and then
Yeah.
King and Black is like readily available.
That's still my favorite Venom run. And you know what's cool is the first issue, I think you're introduced to Null. Like the very first arc on Donny Cates Venom, they're showing you Null, and then obviously it builds to his return.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see in live action.
And really, the last thing I want out of Marvel post Secret Wars is the Dark Avengers. And if you haven't read that, you definitely got to read that. Norman Osborn, it's a lot like Civil War, and they're shutting down unregistered heroes. But Norman Osborn has this group of Avengers. He dresses up like heroes, but they're villains underneath the costume, and in a very corrupt, dominating way. He's just a great villain, a great era for Marvel Comics. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I haven't read that, but I've seen, there's like Venom is on the team and Bullseye's on the team and Wolverine's son, how do you pronounce his name?
Dakin or
Dakin is on.
Dakin. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. There's so many like storylines that I've somewhat learned about but haven't read yet that I would think would make really great movies to see in live action. Or better yet, like animated movies or whatnot, if whatever Marvel decides to do.
Yeah. That's all I got for hopes and desires for Marvel. We can go on to DC if you got nothing else.
Uh, I honestly made like a whole list of Marvel stuff, but I feel like we'd be here all day talking about Marvel. But like one things um is exploring more of Black Panther because I
Yes.
recently a couple months ago I watched the Eyes of Wakanda animated 4 episode show and I really enjoyed that. Like so much more than I thought I would. And it kind of just and then I had to like after finishing it, I looked up on Google. I'm like, is this canon to like the MCU? And sure enough, it was. And I'm like, bro, this should have been like multiple seasons because it's so cool to experience different eras of the like Black Panther mythos and then kind of expand upon that. So I would love if Marvel at some point kind of sees like, we could use the show and expand on the lore and Black Panther within the MCU as well as just like showing like the different Black Panthers throughout the centuries and more with T'Challa and stuff like that. And I would hope at some point if we get T'Challa and Storm together, but I don't know if Marvel will
Yeah.
ever do that.
Dude, bringing in the X-Men next phase, you gotta go Storm, Queen of Wakanda, dude. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
By the way, what do you think they're doing with Black Panther? I mean, you think Shuri will continue to be Black Panther? Or you think they'll recast a T'Challa?
Uh, I would think because I know Black Panther 3 comes after Secret Wars. I would think that Shuri might still be Black Panther, but they might recast T'Challa. I'm banking my money on Damson Idris. I would love to see him as Black Panther. He's like the
Same.
perfect choice. But if it's either, an alternate universe of T'Challa, like Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, but an alternate universe of him, and he becomes the new T'Challa of the 616, or it's his son but aged up,
Yeah,
or anything like that. It honestly, I just want to see T'Challa back and in any way and make sure like it's Damson Idris cast as the character.
dude, same. Yeah, that's got to happen. He's perfect. Coming off a lot of popularity after F1 too, man. Cast this guy.
I haven't seen that yet. I have to see that. I've heard a lot of good things about the movie, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, great little movie. And Alex Hernandez talking about, I think, Norman Osborn and the Dark Avengers. Actually, that his group of Thunderbolts actually was the group of villains that he dressed as Avengers, and that was Warren Ellis's Thunderbolts comics, which again so good with Norman doing the same thing he does as the Dark Avengers, chasing down unregistered heroes. But that Thunderbolts run leads right into Dark Avengers, and yeah, really good stuff. That'd play out on screen so well, I think.
Hopefully, we get a Norman Osborn in the MCU. I would love to see like Norman Osborn play a more pivotal role in
Yeah,
like the Marvel universe, because from what I've learned, he like with the Dark Avengers, like he's more than just a Spider-Man villain. He also is a Spider-Man villain, but also kind of like he also is also like a villain to like the Marvel universe, particularly like New York in a sense. So that would be cool to see him be more than just Spider-Man's arch nemesis.
yeah. You kind of want all the big Spider-Man villains in the MCU. It'd be cool to have a new Doctor Octopus and obviously Venom, Green Goblin. All right, let's move on to DC. So far we got Superman, got Supergirl coming. Batman Brave and the Bold has riders. Did you see that?
Yeah, I just saw that today, and I've seen a lot of discourse about that. I don't remember what her name is, but I know that she was also the writer for The Flash and Birds of Prey, and not many people are very enthusiastic about that. And I can agree, obviously, because I didn't enjoy those movies as much as the next person might have. But who knows what might come of this movie?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's Christina Hodson, Flash, Birds of Prey, and also Batgirl, apparently, which, whoops. So, not the most exciting news, to be honest, for the Riders, the Brave,
Yeah,
and the Bold. Andy Muschietti directing, though. So, he also directed The Flash. So, at least they have some rapport. Although that movie wasn't the best, but Batman in that movie was actually pretty good. Whether it was
yeah, I agree with
Ben
that.
or, God, why am I blanking on the other
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton? Thank you. They had some good Batman in there. They can make a great Batman movie. I'm just saying it's not the most exciting news. I'm not pumped about this writer particularly, but that doesn't go to say that she's gonna mess it up, because I think everyone, no matter who's the writer of Batman, is gonna try their best to treat Batman with the most respect and not give us some wonky donkey weird Batman movie. Like, they know we want dark. They know we want grounded. They know we want Batman being a genius, a badass. We know, so I think they're going to dial it in. I don't, there's no way you drop Brave and the Bold and it's just a bad Batman movie. So we'll see.
Yeah. What are you most excited or looking forward to seeing in that movie?
Damian Wayne. So that is the most exciting part for me. That's the Robins are kind of a lot that to have to do with my desires for the DCU, and knowing that Damien's the first Robin bums me out, but at the same time, I'm just so excited to see Damien on the big screen. It bums me out because that means the other Robin's stories have already taken place. And the Robin's stories, I think, are some of the most incredible stories for characters in the DC universe. Doing Robin, becoming a different character like Nightwing or Red Hood, is just some of my favorite stuff in comics. So since we're skipping them, part of my like wants from the DCU in the future is if we do a Nightwing movie, I still want to see go do like the first third of the movie, the first act of the movie should, I'd like to be him getting meeting Batman, becoming Robin, working with Batman, and that leads up to him breaking up with Batman, either becoming Nightwing in the flashbacks or like we do the flashbacks and now we're left with present day Dick Grayson has separated from Batman, and then his journey to becoming Nightwing is the movie. I don't know. And same thing for Red Hood. I want those stories on the big screen. But if you do that with Nightwing, you can't do it with Red Hood. You got Red Hood, you got another third of the movie being a flashback with Batman, and then him becoming Red Hood the rest of the movie. So that's part of what I really want. So I'm excited to see Damian. I'm just kind of bummed we're skipping the other Robins.
Yeah. Hopefully that with this movie, it kind of, like I said, with like the Wolverine, like Nightcrawler type of thing, that Nightwing and Tim Drake's Robin, Damian Wayne's Robin. Hopefully, Red Hood shows up in the movie and Oracle shows up. That these characters get that shine in the spotlight. That it wants people to see more of these characters, and maybe like that's what I have right here in my notebook is like a Nightwing solo projects, like multiple like TV show or a movie or something like that, because I really love Nightwing, and I would want he's popular amongst the comic book community, but he's not mainstream for like the general audience. So it would be cool to see coming out of the Brave and the Bold, like Tim Drake, like a Red Robin project or Nightwing project, Red Hood project, something like that, where it kind of just like it doesn't spoon feed the origin to people, because I think general audience members can kind of understand, like an origin if it's told to them like within maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and kind of like say give us the origin, and then after that kind of show us where they are present day.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, what about you? What's the most exciting thing about this Batman villain or Batman movie, and who would you want to be the villain?
Ooh, man, think the most exciting thing for me, and it's something that I've seen a lot of creators who have been like very vocal about when it comes to Batman, is seeing him be more fantastical, and how he is in the comics. And after reading like Batman Year One, Batman Hush, and I read the first story arc for Chip Zdarsky's Batman, and then Absolute Batman. It's kind of just like, and then Matt Fraction's run of Batman that I've also been reading. That's a really good run as well. It's like I'm seeing now what people want to see, that flipping around, doing flips, and doing all kind of things with his batarangs and all that type of stuff. That's really what I want to see, and I'm most excited to see. And who I would want to as the villain, since the run is like taking a lot of inspiration from Grant Morrison's run, I honestly wouldn't be opposed to the Ra's al
Black.
Ghul in the League of
Oh,
Assassins,
Raja.
even
Yeah.
though we've seen that already.
But not
That's
comic accurate. Liam
yeah,
Neeson being a white dude is, Ra's al Ghul is Middle Eastern, so you can do, and with his green, like, I mean, how do you describe that? His green, like, very, like, it's just expensive looking outfit he's always wearing. Like, he could do a very
yeah,
comic accurate Ra's al Ghul, be totally different from Liam Neeson. And I'm with you. I think it'll be Ra's al Ghul because it's Damien. That's his grandson. He's going to want his grandson's young body. He's going to want to commandeer his grandson's young body, just like the resurrection of Ra's al Ghul in the comics. I bet you that's going to be the villain, and that'd be cool. I'm down.
yeah. And then the what is it? What's in the Grand Morrison? The Man Bat Ninjas that are in there too. That would be cool to see. I have the omnibuses for all three for Grant Morrison's run, and the Man Bat Ninjas. That would be cool to see in live action. Seeing how they would do that with like the VFX and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And Black Hand was a big villain in that one too, or Black Glove. Not a terrible villain, but I think they'll go Ra's al Ghul. All right. Yeah. So what else? What else do you want to see out of the DCU moving forward?
That's I only wrote four things for that because I'm not very like well informed with DC, not like how I am with Marvel, but an animated World's Finest TV show would be cool to see because I
Ooh,
know Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, Superman, Batman, like their relationship is very like they're brothers and whatnot, and that would be cool to see. Seeing how their dynamic working together and having David Cornswith come back and voice his character and whoever they cast as Batman, and just seeing them team up and do adventures together and cases and stuff like that. That would be really cool to see.
that'd be sick. I can't wait for them to meet on screen. I was worried going into this. James Gunn said like it's already an established universe. I'm real happy that I don't think they know each other yet because those first interactions you see on screen are always so special. Like Thor meeting Iron Man for the first time, Cap meeting Loki for the first time. All those things are so cool, and you got these just icons like Superman and Batman in this new universe together. So I really, really cannot wait for them to interact on screen, meet each other, including Wonder Woman, Flash, everyone else. I can't wait for the worlds to start colliding because we're doing a real slow burn for the DCU, like real slow. We're doing a bunch of B-list characters where we got Batman not even coming out yet, Wonder Woman, Flash, the main Justice League movie's not even coming out yet. So slow burn, but it's going to make it all that much better.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a lot of like the beginning of the MCU because it was kind of slow there. Iron if I can remember correctly, Iron Man wasn't that big of a character like he is now. So they're kind of taking that approach of just like slowly introducing us to like all these characters and stuff. But yeah, I think that David Cornswith Superman probably knows of Batman, like knows about Batman, but I don't think they've met each other yet. But I think he kind of like in the 3 years of him being Superman, I think he knows who Batman is and probably just never met him yet. So I
Yeah,
think they're like you said, they're probably saving their interaction for on screen, which would be really cool to see.
I can't wait for that. Going back to Marvel, Bloody Knuckles says, you think you're going to do Avengers still or more of the Illuminati style? Also, Midnight Suns. That would be a really cool thing to be doing for the next phase of the MCU
Yeah,
and the
that would be really
cosmic
cool.
stuff. Yeah, they still have a lot of places they can go, like the Gladiator character, the Shi'ar, the Kree, Annihilation, the Annihilation Wave, a ton of stuff. As far as the Illuminati, I think they'll stick with the Illuminati style because the Illuminati were the front runners in that Hickman, all the Hickman comics leading up to Secret Wars. The Illuminatis were the one figuring it out, and half of them are. Then Doctor Strange branches off and goes and helps Doctor Doom become the freaking Emperor God Doom. It's crazy. So I think they're going to stick with the Illuminati stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which matches the Incursion saga.
Yeah, that would be cool to see another version of the Illuminati compared to what we saw in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That would be really cool. Like possibly seeing like a more comic accurate Illuminati because I know it's Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Cap, Doctor Strange, Namor, and I believe Black Bolt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Black Bolt was in there. Black Panther, Professor X is in there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and since we don't really have any Avengers right now, I think that's probably what's going to happen. The elite are going to group up and be like, "Yo, fuck all this other stuff. We're going to figure this out."
Yeah. That
Yeah.
would be really cool to see.
So DCU, what's the most excited project you are? That's a sentence. What project are you most excited for in the future coming out?
Ooh. Obviously Batman, the Brave and the Bold, whenever that fully kind of has like a finished script. Supergirl, I'm really excited for that. Um, the Clayface movie, I'm really excited about that. I'm
Yeah.
that's something that I'm looking forward to. I think that's really it from what has already been announced that we know of right now. Like those three projects in particular, I'm really excited about. What
You haven't
about you?
read you haven't read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I really want to though.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I'm most excited for Lanterns because of that. I think I'm really excited just to see the Green Lantern mythos build on the big screen. And I love Kyle Chandler, dude. And I think Kyle Chandler's not signing a big contract. So I think Hal Jordan is gonna bite the dust. like part of my desires for the future of the DCU is that the yellow rings and parallax will kind of start corrupting Hal Jordan. You got a legend like Kyle Chandler, and if you're not going with Hal Jordan, you're gonna go with John Stewart for the long run, right? Your 10, 15-year plan. Hal Jordan, I feel like they would treat with enough respect to where he would have the most legendary ending. If you're just he's gonna get introduced real quick. I have a feeling he's going parallax. And I feel like Hal is going to leave a really good legacy, because if you're not using Hal Jordan, you got to at least give him a massive legacy. And I think that should lead to, I think the first Justice League movie is part of my desire for the future of the DCU, but I think it's actually possible. I think Sinestro Corps War will be something along the lines of that Justice League movie with a mixture of the Legion of Doom, because I really think Lex Luthor is going to be building up some superheroes, building a team. And I think that'd be a really great little thing to have in the middle of the Sinestro Corps War, is the Legion of Doom causing problems too. That's like my desires for that are that, and I think it's actually kind of likely.
Yeah, I really want to read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run. There is a content creator that I watch all the time. I really like his videos. His name is K the God on TikTok and on YouTube. And he made a YouTube video talking about like the little short teaser trailer that was made for the Lantern show, and how he was speculating that Hal Jordan is already like possessed by Parallax already, and that's why they chose Hal Jordan, Kyle Chandler to play Hal Jordan, to be like an older, like possessed Hal Jordan that's possessed by Parallax and whatnot. But I don't like, that's what he is speculating on. I'm kind of just like that's a pretty good speculation, but I don't know too much about like the overall Green Lantern mythos and DC or whatnot. But it's a good, theory that that could be what's going on within the Lanterns TV show.
Yeah, I like it. There's like yellow lining on the ring that people are like, yellow ring parallax. I think it's one of those things that I was really hoping for the whole time, but I didn't think that they would do it. But now I'm starting to think they actually might be doing it, which is just one of the coolest things you could do.
Yeah,
Sinestro, Parallax, the Fear Ring, and then bouncing into all the other rings. Again, I got in my notes that I really want to see some of the lanterns, at least some Easter eggs for lanterns in the Supergirl movie. And I'm really excited to go to space with her and hopefully get introduced to a lot of the prominent kind of galactic characters or civilizations or whatever you want to call it. Like maybe the New Gods, maybe Apocalypse. Maybe you could even meet Darkseid. It's like meeting Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. But if not that, we're getting Lobo. But what about an Martian Manhunter or any of the Lanterns? I think there's a lot of cool things I'm looking forward to seeing in that Supergirl, because she's out in space. I don't think it's going to be very earthbound.
yeah, that's the thing that I've noticed with this DCU is, after watching Superman, it really just got me wanting to read more DC stuff, because it's kind of like how I was with the Marvels, with the MCU when it first started. I started learning so much about Marvel and all the characters and stuff like that. So like with the Supergirl movie, I bought the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow Deluxe Edition so I can read that to kind of get an idea as to what the movie could be taken from the comic as well, because I know James Gunn said that the movie isn't like beat for beat like the comic, but it is taking inspiration from the comic. It is based on that, but obviously they're going to be telling their own original story. And then Lanterns, it got me wanting to read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, and then the animated Mr. Miracle TV show that they're like already, I think they already casted Darkseid and Mr. Miracle and I believe Big Barda, or they're looking to cast. But that TV show has already got me wanting to read Tom King's Mr. Miracle run, so I can kind of know what's going on with that.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed they're doing a bunch of animated shows. Like, you heard of the Dynamic Duo coming out?
Yeah, I have.
Like, that's what we're talking about how badly we want Nightwing and Red Hood. And you're talking about doing Nightwing and Red Hood in some kind of animated blended with puppet show. I'm like, dude, please. Not these characters. Like, I would almost want Nightwing and Red Hood to be treated with just as much respect as Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. Like, I want them to shine. And they're going to be puppets or something. We still don't really know what the hell that's about, but like, that's not the route I want them to take.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to anything Nightwing and Red Hood in it, regardless if it's like a TV show animated or a movie. I'm looking forward to it. But the only thing I'm bummed out about that is that recently James Gunn had like he confirmed or whatnot that um Dynamic Duo is having rewrites, but they're not it's not having a rewrite to be part of the DCU. It's not going to be part of it. It's going to be like
Yeah, I
its own
saw
like
that.
Elseworld thing, and that's the only thing I'm kind of bummed out about it with that I would want it to be in the DCU.
I'm actually happy about that because then there's more of a chance we'll get a proper live action rendition, origin, whatever you want to call it, for Nightwing and Red Hood. And to be honest, I'm still looking forward to it, even though it's not my favorite format. But
Yeah,
I'm more excited because it's not DCU, because I want DCU to just be like live action perfection. And now I'm kind of like looking forward to it more because I'll just be able to watch it and be like, yo, this is not canon to the DCU, so let's just sit back and enjoy it.
yeah,
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. Swamp Thing's another one I'm super pumped about. Alan Moore, Swamp Thing is a top three, and like that. That's my like Jeff Johns Green Lantern, Hickman's Avengers and New Avengers Secret Wars, and then Alan Moore Swamp Thing. Like those are my favorite of all time. So that's pretty cool that we're getting Doomsday, which is pretty much the Hickman Avengers. We're getting Swamp Thing, which I guarantee they're going to follow Alan Moore, and we're getting hopefully something very close to Jeff Johns Green Lantern. It's a big year for if your top three is anything like mine. It's a big year for
yeah.
movies.
If you like, I forgot about the Swamp Thing. What is it like a TV show, movie, or something
This
like
movie,
that? Like,
yeah.
okay, yeah. Like with like the Alan Moores, or like if you could just like describe that run and like what it's about and like kind of like the tone about it, because I really want to check it out.
Yeah, it's all right. So it's gonna have a kind of dark horror undertone, but it's Swamp Thing's journey finding out who the hell he is. Constantine is introduced in Swamp Thing, first appearance ever in Swamp Thing, kind of shows him the ropes, shows him his powers. Um, the way he experiments and gets more powerful is really cool throughout. Stopping by a bunch of like seemingly kind of classic horror villain things like werewolves or zombies. All of them have some kind of commentary on society, which is beautiful. And Alan Moore is like a wizard like that. Um, Very psychedelic, diving deep into like his connection with the soul and the green and the plant's existence on life and how that balance is supposed to be compared to like animals and stuff like that. Ton of commentary on your spirit, your connection with your soul. So a lot of beautiful, weird psychedelic stuff and a lot of good philosophy, commentary on society, and really a badass Swamp Thing. Because you find out that this dude is not like a covered in swamp. You find out that his body is completely dead and disintegrated. Or like later he goes back and finds his bones, but it's only his consciousness that is piloting the Swamp Thing. So now you're diving into the commentary on the separation of soul and body and mind and soul. Beautiful stuff there. And I think that aspect of Swamp Thing is what I love. It is Alec Holland. It's saying you don't need you are not your body. You are not your vessel. You are your spirit, your soul, and that's going to go somewhere after your body dies. So I love that, and it has a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good read. I like books that like that kind of dive deep into like like you
Something.
were just saying, like they have like a deeper meaning to them, and it kind of gets you to think as
That's
you're
my
reading it.
favorite.
I like stories like that, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
That's the best. Like Jeff Johns Green Lantern doesn't have that, right? There's not like layers, and it's just such a cool superhero comic story expansion of lore. Swamp Thing is that, they're so different, but I do like it, man. When they go deeper and there's commentary on real life that we can relate to, that's peak comic book stuff right there.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I'm
think
definitely
Hickman
gonna have
does
to
that
check
pretty
that
well
out.
too. Yeah. So anything else from the DCU that you really want before we wrap it up?
Oh, Blackest Night. I know that
Yeah.
would be like a cool event to happen. I've never read it before, but I know it's part of like the whole Jeff Johns like Green
Yep.
Lantern
That all
Corps
leads to
era.
Blackest Night. Yep.
Yeah, that would be a really cool like Justice League, like kind of like an Avengers level type of movie, but like a Justice League movie, but it's not necessarily called. It could be called like Justice League Blackest Night, or it could be just called Blackest Night.
See, I think that Blackest Night will be Justice League 2 or 3. I really do. Especially if they're going to expand the Green Lanterns and do Parallax. Like that all kind of leads to Blackest Night. So I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, that I'm honestly just looking forward to just really anything that they put out for DC, and that would just encourage me to read the source material and just get more excited for what they could possibly be building towards and stuff like that. So that's really what I've been doing, is brushing up on more DC stuff so I can kind of look forward to what they could possibly be doing, or theorizing like, oh, they're gonna go with this route, they're gonna make this movie, or like they're gonna adapt this comic book run or something like that, or introduce these characters. So that, like, I'm just looking forward to really anything that they release for the DCU.
Yeah. My thing, for a couple quick things to wrap it up, I really want Green Arrow Year One, that comic, to be the movie. Just do that comic for Green Arrow's intro movie. I think that's just the way to go. I really want that. Then I got Reverse Flash. I want Reverse Flash to be one of the best villains ever. I think this dude needs to come, their first Flash movie, do Reverse Flash, and he just has to be a complete menace. And they gotta nail that character. Love that
Yeah,
dude in the comics. He's a menace.
yeah, I know he's like the biggest hater of Barry Allen.
Yeah, very petty, which kind of a mustache twirling villain, right? Like not a lot of depth there, but still that dude, I don't know, something about Reverse Flash I love. So I want to be like scared when I see that dude come get the
Yeah,
Flash in the movie.
yeah, I agree.
Last thing I got is I want them to follow the comics by introducing Constantine in the Swamp Thing movie. It's such a perfect character to show Swamp Thing his super weird powers. And it made the comic really cool. I didn't even know that he was introduced in Swamp Thing, and found out just by reading it and looking it up. Like, this is his first appearance. It's like, yep. Thought that was so cool. And he's such a good side character. And the last thing I want is Deathstroke. I really want Deathstroke soon, and a really badass Deathstroke. I'm really sad we never got that Ben Affleck directed Batman movie where he was supposed to be against Deathstroke. That just, I don't think there's a single villain for Batman, just a direct villain like Ra's al Ghul because of Damien, yeah. But just for like the one-on-one villain for this movie, a Deathstroke versus Batman would be so sick, dude. And I just want a
Yeah,
good Deathstroke. I want him introduced in a really cool way, not even in a Deathstroke movie. Well, they have the Bane and Deathstroke thing coming out, which I haven't heard anything about for a long time, but that's still a
yeah.
thing they're working on at the DCU.
Yeah, it's still a thing. There hasn't been much said about it, but I am looking forward to that. I would love to see like Deathstroke fighting Batman, but mainly seeing his like rivalry with Nightwing and the Teen Titans. I would
Yeah.
love to see that.
Yeah. So the Titans movie is also another movie I think is confirmed, right?
Yeah, it is. I think the script, the writer, she's writing it's a lady, I can't remember what her name is, but I know she's writing the Teen Titans movie, but she's also writing the Wonder Woman movie, if I'm correct about that. But I think they've
Interesting.
halted on the Teen Titans movie, and they kind of focus on like the Wonder Woman stuff to kind of get that out so they
Mm,
can get the Trinity out. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the Teen Titans movie for sure.
Yeah. Add that to a desire. I hope Deathstroke is the main villain of that movie. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see.
All right. Well, any other thoughts, man? MCU, DCU comics before we wrap it up?
Uh Nah, man, I think that's it. I think we pretty much covered mostly everything that I have written down is pretty much what we talked about.
Hell yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Go follow Darian at D Cannon, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget that dash if you're going with YouTube, D dash Cannon 5. And yeah, dude, we'll have you on again. Again, thank you. Had a blast, and a lot of stuff to look forward to. Um, so yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us at Why